Hi, and welcome to a new episode of the Luxembourg PE VC Stories. Today's guest will be Matthieu Broquère. He is CEO at Cedrus Partners. Welcome, Matthieu.
Hi, and thank you for inviting me for this episode.
A real pleasure to have you here. So let's directly start. What can you tell us about Cedrus Partners? Who, when, and how did that whole adventure start?
We are a European investment firm established in 2010 by Christelle Bapt and Benoît Magnier, which are serial entrepreneurs in finance in France. At the beginning of our journey, our focus was on institutional investors and corporates in advising them in their asset allocation, mostly listed. But 10 years ago, we pivoted our strategy to single family office and endowments. And these clients, they are long-term investors, so we decided to focus more and more into private assets.
Great. And what can you tell us about your main verticals, your investment strategy?
Yeah, our main job is to build resilient and long-term portfolios. We have two kinds of business. The first is investment advisory for single family office and endowments. We advise around 10 billion on this segment. And we also have fund-to-fund portfolio management. We have 4 vintages on it, 3 in France and Luxembourg and 1 in Spain. And we invest all across the type of assets of private assets, from LBO, large market in the US, to venture capital, infra value add, real estate, and more niche strategy like litigation funding or NAV lending. We invest through funds, and we do also co-investments, but we don't do direct deals.
Wow, that's a whole bunch and a large universe. How do you source your deals?
We have a team of 6 people dedicated to that. They are former private equity manager or analysts. They are based in Paris, and they met with around 400 GPs all over the world each year. They receive them into our office, but they also go into IPM or super return to meet with manager, and also into the US or Asia to meet them.
And Matthieu, what can you tell us about your organizational setup, about your offices and also your Luxembourg presence?
Yeah, we operate 3 offices. The main is in Paris, but we also have 1 in Luxembourg and 1 in Madrid because we have a lot of Spanish clients. We decided to concentrate our investment team in Paris because we strongly believe in the power of collective intelligence when it comes to delivering returns for our clients. We want they share the same DNA and they can have talks on a daily basis. In Luxembourg, we have a director, Priscilla. Our job is to be close to our clients because we are a strategic partner for them and we have to answer them quickly and with a lot of agility. But we have partners from Paris office coming to Luxembourg on a weekly basis. It's an important point of business for us.
Good to hear. And what happened over the 3 last years within your firm? What can you share?
Yeah, we have 2 kinds of business. The first, on the investment advisory sector, we have seen a lot of single family office and endowments coming to us to invest a lot of their money into private assets, and they want to have access to international GP, but also tools, and we have our own tools. That's the first business. The second, the fund-of-fund manager for retail clients. We have seen an increasing demand from retail clients and their advisors like CGP, private banks, or multifamily office. They want to invest in private assets. So our first vintage was 25 million 5 years ago, raised in 24 months. Our actual vintage, the third, will be 5 times bigger and raised in 1 year. So we've seen an increasingly demand on our private fund of funds for retail clients.
Congratulations for this great growth.
Thank you.
On the ESG side, how important is that for Cedrus Partners? And do you have a specific strategy?
Yeah, of course we consider ESG, but we more focus on what we call finance utile, meaningful finance. And we are a B Corp company since 4 years. So of course, in all our interaction with our clients, with our ecosystem, or with the GP, it's important to be able to measure how they interact with others. So of course we have an ESG theme on our due diligence, but it's bigger than that. We want to have impact with our investment and the investment of our clients.
And via your presence in Luxembourg, so you tested the infrastructure, the local ecosystem, any comments, recommendations in order to push forward our competitivity?
We are really pleased about how Luxembourg welcomes us when we arrived 3 years ago. We have a lot of talks, business meetings. People are really ready to help you to make business. And what drives us here is that the private market is maybe smaller than in other countries, but it's growing faster than in the other countries too. So we have a lot of interaction with private banks and direct clients about investing in private assets, and that's something I think will be more and more active during the next cycle. It's more now a front office place than a middle or back office.
That's also fantastic to hear, you know, because we also want to help the Luxembourg local LPs to get in an easier fashion access to private markets and assets, and I think you're also contributing to that.
Yeah, and I think more and more single family office will come in Luxembourg in the next years. So I think it will be a fascinating ecosystem, and you have to be here.
And with the Luxembourg toolbox, and then also complete, let's say, asset servicing ecosystem, that will be also a huge success.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Of course.
Let's now become a little bit more personal. Matthieu, so where did you study? What did you study?
Yeah, I have always loved mathematics, but also feel as an entrepreneur. So I have a dual degree. The first one is on actuaries from Toulouse School of Economics, where you have a French Nobel Prize, Jean Tirole. And I've studied also finance at ESSEC, the famous business school here in France. So that's my dual degrees. I began as a statistician, but I switched after 1 year into finance, and I have no regret about it.
We're very to hear about your move and this call for adventure and entrepreneurial, let's say, creation of such company. Well done. And how did you enter the field of private equity, if you can say so?
Yeah, I've entered the field of single family office, and they drive me to private equity because they are entrepreneurs, they are long-term view, and they love to put a lot of money into private equity. So my first step into private equity was to jump into single family office world, and after I dig our journey into private equity side from single family office.
And what kind of lessons or pieces of advice would you like to share with young talents who would also like to work in our thriving sector and industry?
Yeah, that's a good question. First, you have to pay attention about industry news. You have to be aware about what happens and to be able to talk about business, economy, and so on. You have to pay attention during your accounting lectures. It's important because you have to dig deep into figures when it comes to private equity to understand the accountability of a company and how you can improve efficiency from the firm you will invest in or the fund you will invest in. So you have to pay attention, and if I knew I will do this kind of business, I surely have paid more attention during these lectures. You also have to be curious. That's important when it comes to this job, and you have to work hard. That's true too.
So let's keep in mind then that the English language will be important in this field for sure if you want to be an international player, but certainly also to use the accounting as another very important language and basis for all this analytical part, specifically if you're looking at a firm and then before doing a potential transaction and things like that, including also valuations and so on.
And also, if you are on a business school or an engineer school, I think one thing important is to understand how entrepreneur operates, their mood. And entrepreneurs, we are open to have talk with students. So don't hesitate to chat with entrepreneurs on LinkedIn to understand how they think. I think it will be a really good edge when it will be your turn to set up deals with them.
Excellent. Any specific leader or person who inspired you during your career or life?
Yeah, two mainly. One passed away 2 months ago, which is Charlie Munger, for his wisdom. I never met him, but that's a big inspiration for a lot of people in finance. And one who passed away 3 years ago too, but I have the privilege to meet, which was Stephen Lodz. He was CEO of an investment firm, an advisory firm between US and Europe, and I have a lot of talk with him about the future of our industry, and he was a true visionary about the shift from listed asset to hedge fund and then to private equity.
This is again music to our ears, and that's also what some Luxembourgish experts decided to do more than 14 years ago. Great.
Yeah.
Now on the more casual side, any podcast, book you actually are reading right now or have appreciated and you would like to share to the audience?
On the podcast side, again, Charlie Munger, 1 month before dying, have a podcast on Acquired, I guess. It's a must. You have to listen to it if you are in finance. It's really a truly big source of inspiration, I think, for finance, women and men working in finance. And on the book side, maybe the biography of Phil Knight, the Nike founder. It's common, but it's a book really important for an entrepreneur like me. You have to be, I've said it, but to work hard and to be consistent and to have a vision. And that's really a book about it.
Good lessons for life. Thanks for sharing your insights and this leadership, Matthieu.
Thank you, Stefan, for inviting me again.
A real pleasure. Thanks a lot and see you soon.